Welcome to Behind the Bower, where we hope to offer inspiring conversations, a fresh look at arts in our community, and provide spotlights on artists, performers, collaborative partners, and organizations. We want to celebrate the universal expression of human experience through arts, culture, and community. I'm your guest host today, Lauren Hood, Program Coordinator for Bower Center for the Arts. Today we have a special treat for you as we welcome the incredible trio, NiteKAP. They bring an eclectic mix of American folk music, creating a unique and captivating sound. We'll explore their journey, the magic behind their harmonious vocals, and the stories that shape their music. Whether you're a longtime fan or new to their tunes, sit back, relax, and enjoy getting to know NiteKAP a little bit better. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
I'm so excited to have you guys join, and I'm happy to be the one that gets to chat with you guys today.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and jump into these questions. I'm going to start out with some intros. So just introduce yourself to listeners and tell us how you got into music. Whoever wants to start.
Well, I'll go first because I'm the oldest. I'm Ken Horn. When I was, 7 or 8 years old, my parents got me guitar lessons, and they didn't take because I was too young for that. Some years later, I had an Italian uncle, Tony Vitri, had an operatic voice, played the ukulele, and I was all captivated. And I took up the ukulele and found out the chords are the same as you use on the guitar. And so I started back with the guitar. And when the Kingston Trio came out, yes, I'm that old, I began to do some of their stuff because it was songs you could actually play and sing with. And I've been doing it ever since.
Awesome.
So I'm Allison Johnson. I'm the A in NiteKAP. KAP stands for Ken, Allie, and Paul, by the way, in case people did not know that. When I was 5 or 6 years old, I guess my next door neighbors were moving away, and they didn't want to take their huge upright grand piano with them. So my parents and them, they got together and made a deal and moved it over to our house. So I started picking out tunes on this piano, and much to everybody's surprise, I seemed to have an ear for music. And my parents tried to give me music lessons when I was about 7 and 8. And unfortunately, like Ken, that didn't take for me because what I was doing was I was listening to the song and just parroting it back. I wasn't actually reading music.
Right.
So as the songs got harder, I couldn't do that anymore. And kind of got frustrated. I wish I'd stuck with it, but nobody really realized what was going on. And then in school, of course, we had a little bit of music and chorus, and I used to sing with that a lot and got into singing a little bit there and had one teacher who really encouraged that. And so kind of kept trying to do that, but I was always too shy to sing lead. I would sing with the chorus, but I didn't want to sing lead. And when I don't know, I've been doing that kind of for years, many, many years. And when I finally met up with Ken, he sort of changed all that for me and pushed me to the front and made me sing a little bit of lead. But there's a lot more to that story I'm sure we'll get to later.
Yeah. Awesome.
Now, I'm Paul Brockman, and I had a similar beginning with Allison. As a youngster, I've been exposed to music as long as I could remember. Mm-hmm. Both my parents were musicians, piano and saxophone and vocals, and so I had all of that going for me. But then when it came my turn to take piano lessons, it was the same deal. I was playing by ear, not really reading the music. And the sad fact is that some 65 years later, it's the same way. I can look at the dots on the paper, but I have to hear it first before I can do anything with it. But I played in a high school band, starting in junior high. And got a guitar and picked up 3 chords and a capo and joined up with friends, and we played, and just kept that sort of thing going on as I grew up. And then later, a good friend of mine in high school was a drummer in a country rock band in Virginia Beach, and through them, I was introduced to polka and country rock, and I was, wow, I like this. And started listening to polka, and there was a fiddle. I said, ooh, who do I know that has a fiddle? My grandfather. And so I got his father's fiddle at the tender age of 25 and started into it, and, had some lessons and a lot of great experience with people who played much better than me. The best way to learn is to hang out with those who can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then I moved here after I retired. I'd known Ken and Allie I've known Ken for close to 30 years. And I met them through, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? But that's another question.
No, that's awesome. I have quite a few family members who kind of the same similar thing is they're very musically talented, but don't read music. And it's just kind of you just play by ear. But I think there's a lot more freedom in that.
Oh, I agree.
A lot more creative expression for sure. Yeah. So how did y'all come together to form the band? And are there any fun stories from the early days?
There are several fun stories. I don't know if we want to get into that in public. Or,
Keep it clean.
Again, I'm still the oldest. I'll go first. I had been doing folk music for an awfully long time, and all three of us do historical reenactments.
Oh, wow.
1750 to 1780 time period, generally, or have done in the past. And it was at one of those things, Daniel Morgan Rifle Frolic, they call it, at Winchester. I went up to see what was going on and brought the guitar just to amuse myself. And there was a circle of people up on the hill playing music. And so I went up there and sat in, and they were just very nice to me and accepted me and all that sort of thing. And there were some women in the back that would sing choruses on songs these guys had done, obviously, a lot. And Allie was back there. And, of course, she stuck out like a sore thumb. I mean, she's Emmylou Harris-esque, The rest of them are normal humans. And I thought to myself, I have to meet this person. And it didn't really happen at this thing, but at another event later on, we were both at the same event, and we met up and said, well, son of a gun, we ought to try a song. So we did. We Go No More a Roving. It's a sonnet from Byron or Shelley or Keats or somebody that somebody put to music. And she knew it and I knew it, and we took off on it, and it worked just absolutely wow.
Wow.
And we've been singing together ever since.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And in between there, I lived quite a ways from Ken. I was down in the Williamsburg, Yorktown area at that time, and he was out here. And we would get together at these music parties and reenactments. And at one point, he sent me a cassette tape, if anybody still knows what those are. And he sent me a cassette tape of him singing because we couldn't actually get together and practice. So I would work up a harmony with that. While we were apart, I would listen to this cassette and work up a harmony. And then we'd get together at whatever music party or reenactment we were going to around the campfire at night. You'd always have music, and we would sing. And often it was, first time we did it live together was right there in front of everybody. But it was, I'd had a chance to practice with the cassette, and it was just kind of interesting how that worked out.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Where do we start? Well, I met Ken the same way through reenactments, and a mutual friend of ours brought us together and started playing, and plenty of funny stories. But they're probably not fit for mixed company, some of them. But we started playing together, as in sitting around the same fire. But as time went on, I mean, we didn't have an epiphany like they did.
Yeah.
But me with the fiddle, I was able to start doing accompaniments and stuff. And then Ken started doing accompaniments to fiddle tunes. And that sort of clicked. And over the years, we became friends. And when my wife and I retired, we were really tired of Virginia Beach. That's a great place to be from. So we moved here for various reasons, but I wasn't here 2 weeks. I got a phone call. Hey, we got a gig down at Hickory Hill Winery. We think a fiddle would be great.
Come join us.
Yes, and so I was drafted, so to speak, and it did. It clicked, and we've been together for a little over 10 years now. As this
trio.
Yeah.
It took us a while to come up with the name. The name has only been with us probably for the last 4 or 5 years, I guess.
Yeah.
We weren't sure what to call ourselves.
Yeah.
The two of them have been here so long. They had name recognition with Ken and Allie.
Yeah.
They were traveling as Ken and Allie. And I thought it would be appropriate to at least keep something of that in. And I had this idea, how about, NiteKAP, but KAP for Ken, Allie, Paul.
Oh,
so that name recognition, some fragment of that would still be present.
Absolutely.
And apparently it took.
Yeah.
Yes. We still don't have
nobody could come up with anything better. So, what you gonna do,
Yeah.
By default.
We all
By default, it took.
yeah. We may hate it, but we don't hate it enough to find a replacement.
No, I love that. That's awesome.
It's kind of a fun name.
Yeah, absolutely. It just rolls off the tongue. It sticks with you for sure. So what is something about being in a band that most people wouldn't expect or know?
Let the old guy go first.
Well, the thing that makes us go, and the thing that you find in a lot of bands, I guess, or in a lot of gatherings of musicians, musicians are not without ego. A lot of them are not without overmuch ego. And so you try to work out stuff with people. And, well, my way is obviously the best way to do this song. Why these other people can't see that is I got no clue, and that kind of bull squash. And we don't suffer from that. In our workings, making good music is way more important than making it the way I think we ought to make it, or the way Paul or Allie thinks we ought to make it. And so we've been able to avoid that. And that's a part of being in the band that is very difficult for some people because of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it really is. Ken and I have been in, so we were in a band together when I first moved here 22 years ago. We started a band. There were 3 of us, then there were 4 of us. And then when that fell apart, we sort of became Ken and Allie. And, through it all, we've kept that friendship. If we've had disagreements, and we don't have many, because like you said, we don't have that ego in there, but we've had that friendship to stand on. And that's really been a wonderful thing for us.
I think amazingly enough, we've been doing this for 30 years together.
At least.
I can't remember. There's only been 2 songs we couldn't get together on. And I can't even remember what they were.
They would have been good anyway. So we just seem to be on the same page most of the time, which really helps. So it helps us. But yeah, that ego that Ken was talking about, I've seen it in other places. In fact, we had some of that with our threesome and our foursome, and it just makes it so much harder. And then with Paul, it just seems to be so easy again with the 3 of us.
Because he's a pushover.
Yeah, Paul's a pushover. He's a softie.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. So your music spans centuries and genres from contemporary Americana to the 16th century child ballads. Who are some of your biggest inspirations, and how have they shaped the iconic NiteKAP sound?
Well, being the oldest, I have the oldest inspirations, Like I said, I got started doing Kingston Trio stuff, and most of your audience probably doesn't know who they are or were. But the things about music that has always attracted me is the depth of the lyric, and it's almost poetic. People like Bob Dylan, Paul Simon, they write a song and it moves you. And it'd take you a week and a half to sit there and try and figure out why this moves me, Those kind of things really attract me. And so that's got a lot to do with some of the song selections that we have made that were my suggestion anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess a lot of my inspiration for maybe the way I sing is from Nancy Griffith and Emmylou Harris, folks like that. Alison Krauss, Gillian Welsh. I grew up listening to harmonies from Crosby, Stills and Nash and the Eagles and Fleetwood Mac. So, some of those harmonies just really, take my soul. It's wonderful listening to the harmonies. So that's kind of influenced the way I sing, I guess. Back to not being a trained musician, if you will, some of my harmonies are all over the place, and Ken and Paul graciously allow me to go all over the place with them until I find what I want. But it's, nobody ever told me I had to do it one way or another. So maybe it's allowed me that breath to, that ability to kind of reach out and do something a little unusual.
Mm-hmm.
And we certainly fill the bill of unusual.
What do you mean, Paul?
I remember the Kingston Trio. Barely. I was just a wee lad, with music as I play it now, my influences were the seminal Celtic bands, going back to the Bothy Band and the Chieftains, Silly Wizard, the Tannahill Weavers especially. And because of what they were doing, a lot of what Tannahill Weavers, they took their name from a Weaver poet named Robert Tannahill from the early to mid 18th century. And, he wrote some really lovely poetry, and people have set that to music, as well as Burns. They were contemporaries, Robert Burns. And those things, the melodies, the harmonies, and it grabs me. And, being a fiddler, of course, I sort of fell right into that. I guess personally, my best influences were contemporary Scottish fiddlers here in the United States. I went to a concert in conjunction with the Tidewater Scottish Festival years and years ago. It was performed by a fellow named Dr. John Turner. And that's when I got the bug for the music of the Isles, was listening to him. I'd been doing old time prior to that, mostly because that's who I had to play with.
Yeah.
And the best way to learn something is to play it with others.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we ended up forming a Scottish fiddling club.
Wow.
And well, it just ran from there.
Yeah. Amazing. That's amazing. Can y'all walk us through your creative process, and how does a typical NiteKAP song come to life?
Somebody, one of the three of us, comes with a song. We don't write our own stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
So somebody comes with a song that particularly intrigues them.
Yeah.
And we all listen to it, and if we all agree that, yeah, that's something to pursue, then we start to pursue it. And the way you do that is you play it, and play it the way you hear it, play it the way you feel it, and that sort of thing. And then you move on. Allie will start with, sometimes she does lead, and Paul does harmonies, but whoever's on lead, the harmony singer comes in, and then you work on the instrumentation, just whether you ought to have instrumental breaks or just skip that part or have two or three or whatever. So you work it. I don't know how else to put it. It goes back and forth and over and over and over again until everybody's eyes light up and say, yeah, hey, wait a minute, that's the way to do that.
Yeah. We always try to, take the songs, because we do covers, but we make them our own. We always try to take them and make them different from the original. We're not trying to really imitate anybody necessarily.
Well, we're not good enough.
Yeah, we probably can't. But, the hard part comes when we've each heard a different version of the same song. And you've got three different versions of the song floating in your head, so you got to find a place to start.
Yeah.
And that can be kind of the difficult part, but we usually will work it out. There's been a few that just haven't worked. We bring them to the table and they just don't. It doesn't happen. But,
Just not
most of
able
the
to make
time,
it click.
or we can't get the instrumentation right. And sometimes we'll revisit those, a year later or something. We'll try it again, and maybe it does come together at that point.
One of the other things with, not just the vocals, but deciding what instruments.
All right.
So Ken plays guitar, 12-string guitar, and a thing called a creature called the gitjo. It sounds like a banjo, but it plays like a guitar.
Oh, wow.
So it's, he didn't have to invest another 20 years learning how to play the banjo.
Right.
And I play fiddle and mandolin and Irish bouzouki. And we'll try different combinations of the instruments to see what works best with a particular song. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically just like taking those different songs and just molding them into you guys, into NiteKAP. That's awesome. Being local Bedford musicians, how has our community influenced your music and performances?
Well, from my perspective, mostly, if you're a folk singer, one of the things you need to learn how to do is read the audience.
Yeah.
So you know when you've hit it out the park, and when you stuck it in the bucket, And all audiences are a little bit different. But we've tried to adjust or tried to pay attention to the sorts of things that appeal to Bedford people. or at least the people of the age that would listen to folk music to start with.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and that's going to influence not so much what songs you learn, it's going to influence what songs you put in the show
Definitely.
and the order in which you put them in the show.
Yeah.
And so that has been an influence as far as I can see.
Yeah, you definitely. There's some things that'll work at some venues and won't work at others that we, have in our show. But overall, this community has been really supportive of us. It's been wonderful to have the wineries and the Bauer Arts Center and places like that for us to perform. Local orchards, they've been really supportive. We do have people occasionally come to us with requests, and we'll try to put those into the show at a later time if we don't already know them. And that gives us something to work on. But there's been a lot of other musicians in this area too who have been really supportive of us as well. So that's been really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one fellow at a winery gig came up and asked if do you know anything from, and well, yeah, as a matter of fact, we do. And we weren't ready for it right then, but we actually added that song into the show.
Oh, wow.
So, we get these things, some like to say we take requests, but we just don't take responsibility.
Yeah, I gotcha. Do each of you have a favorite song or favorite artist that you like to perform, and like what makes them special for you?
I'd say based on the content of our usual show, that Chris Christopherson is one of our favorites, just by how many of his songs we do.
Yeah.
From his Blue period anyway.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Well, because the guy is such a poet, and as I said before, he does a song and it really lights your fire, and it takes you a week and a half to figure out why it lights your fire.
Yeah.
That's a poet.
Yeah.
And he's got an awful lot of that kind of material that's superficially about this, but it's actually underlying about some part of the human condition that's quite profound. So,
Yeah, I really can't say I have a favorite. It's just, music from all sorts of genres attracts me, and I'll hear something that'll it's like, wait, what is that? And it's usually the tune that catches me first, and then I go and hear the lyrics, and if the lyrics are meaningful as well, it just, it makes that whole package. It just takes you, and you feel something, so you want to give that to the audience so they can feel it too.
Absolutely. Cool. Yeah. Your live shows are described as entertaining and inspiring. So what do you hope audience will take away from a NiteKAP performance, specifically the one we have coming up at the Bauer Center this Saturday?
We want them to have a great time. We have a really good time playing together. We're good friends, and I think that comes across on stage that we're enjoying ourselves. So we want everybody to enjoy it too.
Yeah.
We want them to feel the music.
yeah.
I want them to take home lots of merch.
Mercenary.
Yeah. Crash commercialism.
Yeah. No, I want them to be entertained and have an enjoyable evening.
Yeah.
And I also hope that they take home something from the music that they'll be chewing on next week.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And so if we can achieve all of that, then that's good. And if we can't achieve all of that, they need to have a good time and enjoy it anyway.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we make an effort in that direction.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to give you guys 60 seconds to promote any newly released or upcoming projects you guys have. I know that we're doing a live recording maybe this Saturday.
Yes,
of
that
the
is our
album.
plan.
Yeah.
We are hoping to get at least enough for a good demo, or possibly something else to release, like a CD and maybe online. So that's what we're hoping for. So everybody come out and support us, please, this Saturday.
Absolutely.
Yes, you want to come early, applaud loudly.
Yeah.
You'll be recorded on our next CD if we do a decent show. Yep. And that could happen. I mean, the last CD we did was just Allie and I, and we did it out at Hickory Hill Winery, and it was a live show like this. Mm-hmm. And the show is going to be 25 or 30 songs. We only need to get 10 or 12 that are good enough. And so that may well happen.
Yeah.
So we hope so. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love live albums. Love them.
Yeah.
listening to my favorite artist on a live album and listening, I don't know, they just like their emotion comes forth so much more than just in like a pre-recorded and live albums.
We found that out. We went to a recording studio not so long ago. We wanted to make a demo, and we recorded 14 or 15 songs or something, and we only needed a half a dozen. And when all was said and done, the recordings were okay, but the energy wasn't there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's when we decided, let's record the Bauer Center, because that's a real thing, and that's probably going to give us a better deal.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's kind of a feedback loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You're feeding off
We
the
can
audience.
draw the energy from the audience and vice versa.
Yep, for sure.
That's a wonderful thing about the Bauer Center. It's the acoustics are so good. You need a little bit of speaker, but not much.
Yeah.
It's more like a house concert than anything else, and you can actually interact with the audience and they with you, and that's primo.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to playing there again. We've played there before, and it's just an amazing space to play in.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We're obviously very excited to have you guys.
Thank you.
Well, thank y'all so much for chatting with me today. And we are super thrilled to have NiteKAP join us on Saturday, August 10th. But before we close out, NiteKAP is going to play a little bit for us live on the pod. So you can get a taste of what this weekend's show is going to look like. While you guys are getting set up, I'm just going to give the listeners a reminder how they can grab their tickets. So tickets are available online and at the door, so be sure to grab them while they last. You can head over to bowercenter.org to secure tickets today. The concert will be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. with doors opening at 5:30 p.m. It is going to be an unforgettable night of music, so grab your tickets, grab your friends, and join us for a fantastic night. All right, well, whenever you guys are ready, you can...
Well, we're going to play that ever popular Chinese folk song, tuning. But if you don't check your tuning, you embarrass yourself.
Yes, I'm continually amazed at that. I mean, the thing was in tune when I bought it.
Yeah.
What's going on? All right.
And this thing never wants to stay in tune. You know, when you put it on, body heat changes the wood and changes the tuning.
Yeah.
Well,
Hopefully, leaving it sit open over there in the case for all that time did what it was supposed to do. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Weird Willie Nelson wrote this song entirely by hand, I think. I got a long list of real good reasons
For all the things I've done,
I got a picture in the back of my mind.
what I've lost and what I've won.
I've survived every situation,
Knowing when to freeze and when to run. And regret is just a memory written on my brow, and there ain't nothing I can do about it now.
You got a wild and a restless spirit.
I held my price through every deal.
You seen the fire of a woman's scorn
Turn her heart of gold to steel.
I got the voice of a song inside me,
Set to the rhythm of the wheel. And I've been dreaming like a child since the cradle broke the bow, and there ain't nothing I can do about it now.
coming through the changes,
Going through the stages, running round the corners in my life.
leaving doubt to fate,
Staying out too late and waiting for the moon to say goodnight. And I could cry for all the time I've wasted, but that's a waste of time and tears. And I know just what I'd change if I went back in time somehow, but there's nothing I can do about it now. Here we go.
coming through the changes,
Going through the stages,
fate. Staying out too late and waiting for the moon to say good night. And I could cry for all the time I've wasted, but that's a waste of time and tears. And I know just what I'd change if I went back in time somehow, but there's nothing I can do about it now. I have forgiven everything that forgiveness will allow, and there's nothing I can do about it now.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, that is August 10th. That's NiteKAP. We got them coming up at the Bauer Center for the Arts. We hope to see you guys there. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on Behind the Bauer.